I think that's her right there.
Might be a Karen, possible Castleberry Karen, kind of the one that alerted the city and told them that we were operating as a nightclub.
To see it be possibly the end here, it's kind of sad.
As the leader of the ship, you've got to figure out, do we need to go back and dock this thing, or are we going to stay in these waters?
Right.
Because now it's turned into my time with this ship is running out.
I don't know what's going on. Last week when I wasn't here, I saw the whole ordeal with Corey and John, and honestly, it got a little bigger than I thought it would.
Yeah,
I can't even lie. So to be honest, I have no idea what John's gonna say.
Yeah.
I've been talking to Dom, like, Dom, what is he gonna say? Because
hey, it's always a mystery. You never know what you're gonna walk into in the Monday morning meeting. So,
Heard about citation?
What citation?
Well, I was just talking to John about it. We got some from the city. Apparently, someone calling us a nightclub or saying we're acting like a nightclub, trying to shut us down or something.
Oh, there's a nightclub in here. Okay.
Right,
Okay,
where's that?
Editing,
Where's that?
Yeah, insane.
wait, but
It's club hype in here. We don't got no security. We don't got no hook it up.
that's interesting. So
Yeah.
I'm just confused because we don't be bothering anybody. It's like we're off in a cut. My name is Symphony Thompson. I am the lead host / admin administrative. I don't even know what to call it, but I do a lot of things behind the scenes. But mostly people know me as lead host for Comedy Hype News Show. Man, I think I started in 2020. It was like right around that COVID mark when everything was like shutting down. And I was already in media field. I was like hosting events and things like that. And yeah, Comedy Hype reached out and I was like, okay, let me look it up, see what this is about. I looked up the company before I responded because I was like, who is Comedy Hype? Let me see, who is this? And once I looked it up, I was like, okay, let me see what they're talking about. First of all, when I came, I've been in Atlanta for a couple years by that time, but I also knew like, okay, this company looks like, they're legit and all the things, but there's so many scams. People buy pages and all the things. So I hit up some of my people and I was like, yo, I'm going to an interview. I'm sending you my location. If I don't hit you up 10 minutes in the interview, sound the alarm. I pulled up with my piece and everything.
All right, so as you guys can see, those are all the packages that we are offering. All they gotta do is email teamhype@comedyhype.com and people can start getting a load of all the advertising that we're looking to offer. So I'm really excited about this. We worked really hard to put it together. Anything that someone needs, we're gonna be able to pull it off, So I know you guys, I've been hearing the chatter. Last week was definitely an interesting week, as y'all know. But behind that, we did get a notice, and that's kind of why I wanted to make sure you guys were in today to talk about this notice. I've never experienced something like that, or like this, so I don't know how detrimental it's going to be to the company, how it's going to impact us. But based off this notice, it is saying that we're not compliant with a few things in our studio. And in particular, the notice was saying that we were functioning as a nightclub. And trying to say that, I think because it was like one of those events that we did where, we have events every now and then, brought some people through. I think one of the event goers got really loud. I think it was the bartender, ironically enough, got really loud. And I think that notified one of the neighbors to go speak. And I found out a little bit about that. It might be a Karen, possible Castleberry Karen, kind of the one that alerted the city and told them that we were operating as a nightclub.
my name is Dom Smith. I'm a writer here for Comedy Hype. Started off as just a staff writer, but was able to work myself up to a head writer for some of our news stories. Been here since 2019. Yeah, it's a little alarming, especially due to the fact that, whoever wrote the notice, we've never met. We don't know who this person is. Common courtesy would be just to, knock, introduce yourself, and, maybe try and hash out any problems or concerns you have with the person before going to law or government or whatever. But yeah, it did throw me off.
Gosh, not Castleberry being haunted by a Karen. Like, what?
So
I didn't even know they had that brand out here.
Yeah, there's a lot of different people that live in this It's unfortunate given that it's a lot of black businesses here. you know, it's bothersome on my end mainly because like we've been here for over 6 years now. We never had any issues like this. So for this to kind of come in the middle of the night, in this extreme manner, and I think the thing that bothers me is because we do so much good work for our community. It's like, why would you just label us as something so simple like a club? Like, if anything, yeah, I got Hypers Club, but we're a membership club. We're trying to bring coworkers and co-working together and creators together. So that kind of messed me up that they didn't decide to further investigate what this club thing meant.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
like,
instead of just like so basic to go with a club. So that got me a little annoyed because it's like, yo, we're deeper than that. Black folks do more than just clubs and activations and hookahs and all that. Like, no, we really try to build companies and put stuff together. So I'm gonna do my part to follow up with the city about it. I did talk to a friend, or I did kind of investigate myself about this process. It can get pretty sticky, you know, and to be real with y'all, you know, it might really impact the future of us being here. And honestly, the worst case scenario is like we may have to actually leave.
So I'm not surprised, but to be possibly leaving, I can't lie. It kind of makes me sad because it's like, this was home for a lot of people. We've seen so many people come in and out. I've seen so many people have opportunities to be able to work here, launch their own brainchilds and ideas. Different shows that we've done where, you know, Hype Mike, and even with the Comedy Hype News late night show. Like, I've seen so much happen here. So to see it be possibly the end here, it's kind of sad. But at the same time, I truly believe that with change can come growth. Because sometimes you can get complacent and comfortable. And sometimes you need to be taken out of what you're used to. So I'm excited, but definitely sad to see the space go. I mean, it's a dope space. Anybody that's walked in here just be like, man, this feels good. So it's like, you know, I'm gonna miss it, but at the same time, I know the owner. He's one of those people, like, it doesn't matter where we go. He gonna keep going, as the motto says.
Ryan, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing well. Out in these streets, how you doing, man?
I'm cool. I mean, it's just, you know, business is business, so it's, you know, ups and downs. And I think I got a recent down, man. And that's why I was kind of knocking on your line, yeah.
Yeah, man, what's going on?
So, I don't know if you know, we've been at our spot for a few years, and I never had a problem, like, since I've been here. And it looks like, you know, I got a notice from the city. So now I don't know, like, what should I be trying to do, you know, moving forward?
That's a hard one, and it happens with a lot of businesses that they're in a gray area of use.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that might be what you're experiencing. It's either a redevelopment scenario, so there's a developer coming in town and they're calling everybody out, or it's somebody nearby who's not quite your friend.
You say you're driving around. Are you, like, in the area?
I'm in Southwest Atlanta, but I can get by there fairly quickly.
All right. You doing that? How about in the next, like, couple hours?
Yeah. Give me about an hour, and
Okay.
I'll head that way. And I think I'm about 15 minutes away, so give me an hour to wrap up here, and then I'll head that way.
All right, my man. All right, man. This is tough because we already dealing with enough. So.
I know it's a lot, but you know we're not gonna get nervous. We're not gonna be
Right.
critical. We'll figure it out. We're too smart to let this.
That's
slow us
right.
down.
That's right. All right, for sure.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
Let me wrap up here.
Dog, I think that's her right there.
My name is Ryan Bowen. I am the commercial liaison and new agent liaison at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Midtown office and Sandy Springs Dunwoody offices. So a citation is you're doing something wrong. And when you get a citation, you should definitely get into the action mode of how do I fix this? How do I rectify this? Who do I speak to rectify this? How much is this going to cost me? Who else is responsible for these issues? Like, is it me? Is it as a tenant? Is it me, or is it the landlord? As an owner, is it me or is it my neighbor? Like, what is the reason for a said citation? How do I abate or eliminate the citation? And what's my time frame to do so? Because penalties will just rise. So you got to get, it's a speeding ticket. You got to go to court. You either have to plead and pay, or go to court and contest. So that's what a citation is. I don't want you to take it personally, but there's the whistle on the place to say something's not welcome, and there's an element of, are they saying we as a people, we as a business are not welcome, or is it purely just we as a business aren't welcome and they want a different type of business here? Think of your historic district as your homeowners association. Somebody will report you to the homeowners association president. That president will then issue a letter, a citation, and they'll send it out to you. Usually those tips are anonymous. So they're like, hey, so-and-so's doing X at their spot. Let's go ahead and, I'm gonna tell on them, but hopefully they can come talk to me and I'll help them fix it too. Other times they're like, no, I'm gonna tell them because I want them to get out of here. I think that might have been the direction that one went, but there's always a way to smooth everything out. You just have to be okay with communication and patience, time, and sometimes money.
Yo, so how was your week? Like last week, work-wise, what are you thinking?
It's been good. I think the most difficult part is just not really knowing what our next step looks like and honestly what the future looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel I'm able to really lock in the way I need to, or really, do these outreaches and things that need to get done, because I feel like I'm at a standstill place. Like what's about to happen? What's going to be next for us?
Yeah, I mean, you're hitting it on the head as far as like standstill. That notice really kind of came out of nowhere, and just trying to figure out, I've never been in that position before. I thought we would always be here in my mind. Like this would be like a storyline that we would tell. And just now I just feel kind of like, what decision do I need to make? It's just coming down really, do we stay, or do we, ultimately have to just move and try to start over again not necessarily again, but just start somewhere else, or to continue, let me say continue, and kind of keep going somewhere else. So yeah.
I think one of my concerns is like, what does that look like for the community that we have built in the Castleberry? Because for so long we were just known as online, and then we started to do things in the community and made a presence known in Atlanta. What do you think that does for our partners within Castleberry?
Honestly, I think we kind of got in this situation because the partnerships weren't as strong as I thought they maybe should have, to be honest with you. So because of with us even facing this, I was thinking about, we did Castleberry Fest, and like we actually try to really put on for this neighborhood, and to kind of get this notice and something being projected on us that is inaccurate. It definitely feels like, the neighborhood didn't really get our back. So this partnership, I don't know, was even a partnership to begin with, when it comes to the neighborhood, and definitely disappointing to kind of realize that. So that's not a huge, big issue on my end. I'm sure I'll do my part of staying in touch with the businesses that we have created direct relationships with. But overall, this neighborhood, I think, kind of already made the decision for us what they thought about our business, our company. I don't stop. I'm not going to give up. And I think that's why that model, and you got Castleberry Karen in the city, it's like cool. And I've done the research enough to know that this is just part of the story. This is just part of the journey. That's what makes a story exciting, is that you have to have your antagonists, you got to have your villains, you got to have your obstacles. It can't be a story of, I woke up and I had an idea and then, I did it and then this money just came. It's never really like that. It's this process of it. And hopefully us telling the people and being transparent about this process, the ones that have ideas and things they want to do will understand that this is just part of the journey. And don't trip when it happens to you, and embrace it. Embrace all of it. And that when it's time to show that you made it through the other side, embrace that too. But really understand, like, so I'm very unfazed by this. And I'm excited about it in a weird way because it's like, oh, okay, this is just another chapter to the story.
The only other concern I can think about for me would just be when I'm thinking about if we do take the route of leaving,
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff that has been accumulated over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
6 years, yeah.
What are our plans there? Because you know, trying to move the platform still and make sure we're staying on all the things that we need to stay on top of while moving on top of all this stuff that we have. Like, do you have any thoughts there? I know we're still trying to figure it out, but you know, what do you think the thoughts are there?
Oh, hold on. You know, sometimes things hit me. What if it was like I've been to something like this before where people kind of like the businesses that are moving or closing, they typically like invite people out to possibly buy stuff. What if we just did like a moving sale to help get rid of like a good portion of this stuff? And I probably can put some of this stuff in storage, but for an idea of like helping us get the load lighters, what you're saying, because that is going to be a lot of stuff with the amount of years we've been here. But what if we do like a moving sale, you know, and invite members out, invite the community out, play some light music, some light stuff to eat, and then have it to where people can buy stuff, you know, to further kind of support or just, you know, again, just help us get rid of some of these things. And then we can even call like Keep Going Day, you know, like, and make it about like us moving, the Keep Going like Day moving sale or something like that to really kind of let people know this could be like the last time you get the chance to experience and you can come tour. And, you know, I think that could be really like a good direction for us. What decision will I make in this space? You know, if we stay here, I honestly think it would be safer for the company as far as like financially. Security, we already know how that works. The story that we created here, the support that's around us. And then the other option could be like, you know, just like getting up and moving and going to another new territory, another space, new energy. The risk about that is not knowing what you're getting into, not knowing if you're going to be welcome, not knowing if there's another Karen waiting for me. And not knowing, it's the not knowing part. That's kind of scary. You know what I mean? You don't know. You have a vision in your head of how it could go if you move somewhere. However, I didn't get this far being afraid and being scary and being unwilling to take leaps. And I've always listened to my instinct, you know, that inner voice in you that's like, yo, do this. Now some people listen to the inner voice, some people don't. A lot of people don't because they gotta sometimes see it, like they want to make sure it's right, but the inner voice kind of knows intuitively that this is what you should do. And my rule is that I always say no if there's hesitancy. If I feel hesitant about something, then I go with no, don't do it. But if I feel very clear on that and I don't feel a hesitancy, then I do it, and I don't have any hesitancy here. So, I mean, ultimately my decision is that we go ahead and move and take that leap and be able to see the next part of our adventure. I think pressure stimulates progress. And I think about every time I've been under pressure, it's kind of guided me to do what I needed to do. Because I've been in phases where I haven't had pressure. And that's when I go off the rails a little bit. That's when I'm entertaining people, things that I shouldn't be entertaining. But when that pressure's on you, it makes you do all the right things you're supposed to be doing. So I don't run from pressure, you know.